Greetings, JDs and Lentilmen. Welcome to my top 20 best films of the year list. That's right, 20, because this year has just been brilliant for movies. So many great films. Great for, independent movies. Some really good Australian movies have come out, which makes me happy. But, yeah. I'm gonna try and keep this video reasonably short because I know I tend to ramble on, and also I filmed this whole video which took me 2 hours only to realize I didn't have my mic plugged in and it recorded no audio, so I'm fucking angry about that. But anyway, without further ado, let's get straight onto the list. Number 20 is The Guest.
Would you like to come inside?
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, Adam Weingart is a pretty interesting and promising film director. He's done work on VHS, and he made the surprise hit You're Next, which I have not seen. But apparently, subverts like the genre, and it's the victim fighting back and stuff, which is cool. And The Guest is just pure B-grade campy fun. If you're into that, it's kind of a parody / homage to old school horror movies. There's there's the synth soundtrack. It kind of reminds me of Drive a little. Starring Dan Stevens, he's an awesome villain. He can come off as such a nice guy, but he has an amazing screen presence, like also in Walk Among the Tombstones. But The Guest, just pure B-movie schlocky fun, but it manages to be good with interesting characters and stuff, and it really caught me by surprise. So yeah, check this out if you're into sort of campy horror parodies and stuff like that. Number 19 has been called by some critics as the best Irish film of all time. I'm not going to say I agree with that, but it's damn close. Number 19 is Calvary.
I think there's too much talk about sins, not enough talk about virtues.
What would be your number one?
I think forgiveness has been highly underrated.
Now this is by John Michael McDonough, who I think is a really talented director, along with his brother, who did Seven Psychopaths and In Bruges. John Michael McDonough directed The Guard of 2011, which was one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while. And this is more of a drama than a comedy, but it's set in Northern Ireland, and Brendan Gleeson, who is severely underrated, plays a priest, and he receives a death threat. And the movie is really just him living his life in the week, having conversations with the townspeople and helping him out and stuff, coming to terms with the death threat, and has a lot of themes like forgiveness and everything. But it also talks about the Catholic Church, and what I like is it's not biased. It talks about the good and the bad in the Catholic Church, and it's not afraid to address certain problems with the church and with like Ireland in general and stuff like that. But it just has some really great themes, and it's really beautifully shot, and the music is so powerful, and it's one that will make you think, and it makes some good statements. Now, a lot of people are going to be surprised with how low my number 18 is here, but I ranked the movies on how much I enjoyed them. That being said, number 18 is Boyhood.
Where do you want to be, Mason? What do you want to do?
This movie is so impressive, like really impressive. Richard Linklater filmed it over 12 years, once a year, so the actors grew up with their characters, which is just amazing. It's never been, nothing like it's ever been done before, and it captures life. It is so realistic. It's probably the most realistic depiction of life that a film has ever and probably will ever achieve. The reason it's so low on the list is because I did find it a little boring, and I'm not sure if I'd like to watch it again anytime soon. That doesn't matter though, because I still really enjoyed it, and it emotionally affected me, and I could relate to it because I was relatively the same age as L.R. Coltrane's character when it started. He started at 5 years old, finished at 18. I'm 17 now. So I did relate to a lot of the experiences and stuff, although I do think American audiences will relate more because, it's a typical American upbringing. But great performances all round. Richard Linklater is a freaking genius. He works so hard, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. Number 17. Now, I've talked about this movie in a previous video, so I'll keep it short. How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Come on, Toothless! Drag chickens and
really, just watch my video on it. It is beautifully animated. It's not afraid to tell a dark story to children. Great voice acting, great storyline. After rewatching it, I really enjoyed it, and this is the type of movie that I would want to show to my kids if I had any. Just watch the video I did on it for a more detailed description. Number 16 has been called by the director of The Exorcist the best horror movie ever, the scariest horror movie ever made. The director of The Exorcist said that. Whoa. Number 16 is The Babadook.
You can bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy.
You can't get rid of the Babadook.
Directed by first-timer Jennifer Kent, it's an Australian horror movie, and it is the best horror movie I've seen in years, maybe of all time. Because it works, because it tells a story on its own. It doesn't rely on cheap gimmicks and jump scares and stuff, because that's what a lot of horror movies do these days. They just rely on jump scares and, you know, loud noises to trick the audience into being scared. But this movie uses real suspense, and it cares about its characters, because if you took away the horror element to this film, it would still be, you know, it would still be a great dramatic story, because it's about dealing with grief and depression, and the Babadook monster is sort of a metaphor for your grief and feeding it and everything. Because a lot of people went into it expecting a generic monster movie, which it's not. It's anything but a generic monster movie. It's very emotionally powerful. It gets under your skin. It's really scary at times because it builds real tension. Jennifer Kent, it's her first movie. She directed it like an expert, and I cannot wait to see what she does next. Now, I did say this movie was overrated, but I still love it, and, you know, it being in this list is a testament to that. Number 15 is Nightcrawler.
You have to make the money to buy a ticket!
This is Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance, period. He transforms in it. He is not himself. He is amazing. He lost a lot of weight for it, and he's seedy and creepy and gaunt, and oh my god, like his character Lou Bloom, I think, is gonna go down as one of the iconic movie sociopaths. Yeah, he has no moral compass whatsoever, and, you know, he will do whatever it takes to get the perfect photo, because it's about LA crime journalism, going to crime scenes, taking photos of dead bodies. This movie is really dark and gritty, and, you know, it really brings you into the world of LA. You know, great acting. Riz Ahmed's really underrated as his partner. Rene Russo's really good. Bill Paxton in the small amount of screen time he has, but it's just messed up, and it shows what kind of lengths he'll go to for success and how seriously he takes it. And, you know, he's willing to hurt other people in order to get the perfect shot. And it's a pretty messed up movie, and I'd really recommend anyone to watch it, because it seems that everyone is really enjoying it. Number 14 is Begin Again.
A guy like that falls on his lip for a couple of years. People lose sight of who he is.
This really is a bit of a long shot, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's when the magic happens.
Waiting for the next move.
Now, I really love this movie. It got right to my soul. It's really just a feel-good movie about a passion and love of music and following what you love to do. It stars Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, both really great. I love it when Mark Ruffalo does these smaller movies. But basically, he's a music producer, she's a musician, and you know, once he gets sacked from his record company, they decide to gather some musicians and just make an album together, and they record each track outside in New York City, and which I think it was just really fun. It was about just a passion of music and doing what you love, and about getting a fresh start, getting your life back together, you know. The tagline from the movie, "You're only as strong as your next move," which I think is, you know, a great message. And the movie is just, sure, it has its depressing moments, but all in all, it just made me feel really good about life and humanity, and it just, yeah, about a passion for music. That's all I can really say. Honestly, the soundtrack is really amazing. I love it. Watch this movie if you haven't heard of it. Number 13 is probably the most Oscar-baiting movie on this list, but it's just so well made. The Imitation Game.
You've got more secrets than the best of them.
Now, The Imitation Game, it's, you know, there's nothing that really stuck out about it. It's a general, generic Oscar bait movie, but it's just really, really well done. It's really well directed, written, acted, music, blah, 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 blah. It's just very, very interesting. It holds your attention. It's basically a perfect movie. But it's just held back because it is kind of Oscar bait. But Benedict Cumberbatch stars as Alan Turing, and this guy was a hero. He saved millions of lives during the war. And, you know, no one even knew about him until after he died. He basically invented the computer as well. And the movie just explores his life and how he created the Enigma machine, breaking the Germans' code in World War II, and basically shortening the war by 2 years, and yeah, saving millions and millions of lives. Benedict Cumberbatch is emotional, he's incredible, he plays the character perfectly, it's the best I've ever seen him. Keira Knightley's great, Mark Strong, Matthew Good, great supporting cast all around. Just a really, really well-made movie, and it's entertaining to watch as well. Number 12 is another Australian movie. Thank you, Australia, for putting out some good content. It's set in America, and it's about time travel. Predestination.
I know where I come from, but where do all you zombies come from? What if I could put him in front of you?
Interesting word, that, but it's by the Spierig brothers, who directed Daybreakers, I believe, and it's set in New York, filmed in Melbourne, stars Ethan Hawke. Well, he's top billed because he's the most famous, as a temporal agent, a time traveler who stops crimes before they happen. I know it sounds like Minority Report, but trust me, it is nothing like Minority Report. But let me tell you, the real star of this film isn't Ethan Hawke, isn't the time travel story. The star of this film is Sarah Snook. Haven't heard of her? I don't blame you. She is a actress from Adelaide. I've never seen anything she's done before, but she is electrifying in this. She's incredible. One of the best performances of the entire year. Out of nowhere, her character is such a complex character. It has so many freaking layers and shit. She is just amazing. She plays it in so many different ways and so many different personalities. I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but it's a really, really complicated character, and she just absolutely nails it. Like, she went in, she knew exactly what she was doing, stole the show from Ethan Hawke in every single scene. Every single time she was on screen, it was just, like, captivating, and the movie itself is captivating. It's a bit of a mindfuck, there's a lot of confusing shit, but once you understand it, you can really appreciate the story and, you know, how it goes. I mean, sure, with a time travel movie, it's never going to have perfect logic, but it's really fun to try and analyze and work out what happened, and just, even if you don't understand it, it's a really entertaining watch. Now, I don't know that many people saw my number 11. I tried to get so many of my friends to see it, but none of them would. I had to go see it with my sister. None of my friends wanted to see it. I'm not sure why. But not a lot of people saw this movie, and for a lot of them, it's because it's about gay people. I'm not assuming that everyone's a homophobe, but, you know, a lot of people who stayed away from this movie were, you know, gay movie, yuck. And it's the same with a lot of movies about gay people. Like, when I tell people I like Brokeback Mountain, I get made fun of, and they say, oh, it's just cowboys eating pudding and having sex. But it's so much more than that, and so is Pride.
You see what we've done here? By pledging our friendship, we've made history.
Sorry, this is a man only.
Oh, don't be daft. We want to see everything, even the rubber scene.
Pride is a bit set in 1984 in London and Wales during the miners' strike, where a group of gays and lesbians decide to start a group to raise money and help out the miners on strike, because, you know, they say, you know, we should help someone else out because we're always asking for help. Yes, they start raising money, and eventually they get a mining group to accept them, but when they go there's a lot of tension, you know, there's a lot of people who don't want their support and everything, and about winning them over. But it's really just, it's not just a film about gay rights and stuff, it's about togetherness in general, and it's about communities coming together and helping people, and which I think is an extremely important message for gay rights, and just for, you know, the sense of community in general, because it's just really satisfying to see everything come together, and, you know, even though it's not successful in the end, you know, they've all made new friends and everything. I don't really know how to describe it. It's great performances by Paddy Considine, Dominic West, Ben Schnetzer, Bill Nighy, Imelda Staunton, the guy who plays Moriarty in Sherlock. Really, just, it made me feel good. Again, it's another feel-good movie. I was freaking crying so much in the end credits because it just the end, like crying with happiness, the ending. I think it's just a really, really important movie that I think everybody should see. And, you know, just watch it for me. I know that a lot of people think it might not look interesting from the trailers and stuff, but honestly, it's a really important movie, and I think it could even change a few people's minds. Please watch Pride. Okay, now that I'm in the top 10, it's really tough to decide between a lot of these movies because I love them all so freaking much. But anyway, number 10, the only movie I went to see 4 times in theaters this year, and it got better each time, Guardians of the motherfucking Galaxy.
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
What a bunch of a-holes.
I'm hooked on a feeling, etc. Oh god, this movie is so much fun. It brought back the sense of adventure in action movies that's been missing for a long time. It felt like I was a little kid in the theater watching Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie to date. You know, I think it's better than the Avengers and everything. Cap 2 is close behind. Captain America 2 is also really good. But Guardians of the Galaxy is just pure fun. And it's about, you know, fitting in. Also, it has good messages for the kids who want to watch it. But it also has enough humor for adults and, you know, people of my age to enjoy it. Great characters. The characters are the main drawing point of this movie. They are so lovable. Drax, Star-Lord, Rocket, Gamora's okay, but then Groot just became like one of the most famous characters, so beloved by everyone. You say, who's your favorite character? Oh, Groot. Personally, I think mine was Drax, but that's because, you know, I always have to be different from everyone else. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is just pure fun, and if you haven't seen it yet, you probably need to rethink some of your life's choices. Number 9 is a smaller movie that not a lot of people saw. It's a British prison movie starring Jack O'Connell of Unbroken, and it is called Starred Up.
He suffered enormous emotional trauma.
It's not always possible for you to be there to protect him.
Starred Up's about a 19-year-old guy who's transferred early from a juvenile prison to an adult's prison for violent behaviour, which is what the term Starred Up means. And there's not much I can say about it. I don't really know what it is about this movie that made me love it so much, but it's just so, it's raw, gritty, visceral. You feel like you're there in the prison. It's violent, you know, it's big-mouthed friggin', but it, at the same time, it also has a lot of heart and you know, some pretty positive themes. Like, Ben Mendelsohn is also in it. He plays the main character's father, who's also in prison, and let me tell you, Ben Mendelsohn is incredible in this. He is Oscar worthy. For some reasons, no one's even talking about him, but honestly, for me, he gives J.K. Simmons a run for his money. He is excellent. You know, the main character, Eric Love, he's really violent, but you know, he's trying. You know, he's still a kid, and he sees a therapist and they're trying to help him get his anger issues in check. But honestly, I don't really know what to say about Starred Up. It's a small movie, but I just really enjoyed watching it. I think it had a lot of heart. It was very well executed. And there were times that I was almost crying during the movie. There was some really intense scenes. If you like prison movies, I definitely recommend checking out Starred Up. Now, number 8. A lot of people are definitely going to disagree with this being so high on the list. But the more I've watched it and the more I've thought about it, I mean, I have to. Number 8 is Interstellar.
Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light.
All right, Enrique.
Yes, you are.
We'll find a way. We always have.
First off, I'm not a Christopher Nolan fanboy, you know. I'm not even like a giant fan of his. I hated The Dark Knight Rises. I think The Dark Knight's overrated. Still love it though. Batman Begins is awesome. I love Insomnia. That's really underrated, I think. Like, you know, I'm a fan of Christopher Nolan. He's doing different things with his movies, which is awesome. But don't assume that I'm liking Interstellar because I'm a fanboy of his, because I'm not. I liked Interstellar because it is the most... I cannot remember a better experience I had in a movie theater. It was so incredible to watch. The visual effects, and they used a lot of practical effects as well. The score is so powerful. It's the best of the year in my opinion. I could just throw it on any time and listen to it. When the pipe organs start playing in the intense scenes, it is so intense and powerful. Matthew McConaughey is really, really, really good as the main character. So is Mackenzie Foy, Jessica Chastain, etc., etc. Anne Hathaway's a bit Interstellar is not a perfect movie. I can concede that. It has a lot of pacing and plot flaws, some things that don't make sense, a lot of cheesy dialogue. But the thing is, a movie doesn't have to be perfect for me to love it, does it? It's just about how I feel about it. And I went to see this movie 3 times, and each time it got better and better and better. I understood more about it each time, and, you know, I began to forgive some of the weaker plot points, because it is just such an incredible experience, and I love the idea of space travel. I love the idea of leaving Earth. I mean, I know it was under a bleak circumstance in the movie with the corn everywhere, but I love the idea of leaving Earth, colonizing the universe, finding a home on a new planet. I really, really love that concept. I'm often following a lot of space travel news and stuff. I mean, you know, I failed science in school, but I really am into space. I love space, which is why I loved Gravity so much last year. But Interstellar is just a one-of-a-kind experience. It is incredible. I mean, you know, it's not as sophisticated as 2001: A Space Odyssey, but you know what? I enjoyed Interstellar more. I cannot wait to be yelled at for that one. Number 7. This is the best action movie I have ever seen. Of course, I'm talking about The Raid 2. Man, foreign films are just like nothing they make here in the Western world, because I don't know, they just have this sense of weirdness and originality that I cannot help but love. The Raid 2 is just immaculate in the shooting of its freaking action scenes. The best action scenes ever. Gareth Evans, a Welsh director, he knows exactly what he is doing behind the camera, and despite the fact that he's only made 2 movies, he is one of the best action directors working today. If you have not seen the first Raid movie and then subsequently this, do it. I don't even care if you don't like reading subtitles. Watch these movies, they are incredible. I mean, you know, there's no words on the screen when they're fucking fighting, so just watch it for the fights. Even, like, I could put together a compilation of just the fights from this movie, and it would still be an entertaining experience. But then we've got a story, which is freaking awesome as well. The story is amazing. It's like... The first one was all action, no story. In this one, they've actually elevated the story to new heights. And it's like a completely different movie. Yeah, the story, it's like a big mobster gangster story with like Who's the Rat and stuff like that. Really, really cool. Just a lot of fun in general. Really entertaining. So well done. Brutal as hell, which is what you want in a martial arts movie. And if you're a fan of action, this is a must-see. Now, number 6 is a small movie. It's another Australian movie. But yeah, it's a small movie, no one saw it, I don't really know anyone who saw it, it made fuck all money, and I don't even know if it's out in the States or anywhere else yet, but it's not like a huge movie, it's not an amazing friggin', it's not like a big movie that most people would generally say is worthy of the best of the year, but it just had such a profound effect on me that I can't stop thinking about it, and this movie is These Final Hours.
You better go. How come you're not with her?
I've messed a lot of things up, Grace.
There's still time.
I just hope you're all keeping safe out there. You're surrounded by your families. Hold on, Grace. It's coming.
the story it's set, the world is ending. An asteroid has hit the world. It's set in Perth, Australia, and the main characters wake up with 12 hours left on Earth. The meteor has hit, and the flames and fire and destruction are currently engulfing the Earth as we speak. And it's just about the characters. You know, it's an end-of-the-world movie that doesn't focus on the end of the world, but it focuses on the characters. And everyone's gone to shit, everyone's looting, raping, murdering, killing, and partying, and getting fucked up on some drugs. And that's what the main character wants to do. He wants to go to this party to end all parties, to get fucked up on drugs. He leaves the girl he's seeing, who's really nice to him and stuff, but he just goes to the party. But on his way, he winds up saving a young girl from pedophiles, and he sort of strikes up a relationship with her, and decides eventually, look, fuck this party, I'm gonna help this girl get back to her parents. And it's basically just a tale of redeeming yourself. And, you know, the world's dead, you're fucked, you're dead already, but just doing something good for once. Because the main character, he's not a great guy, he's not the best person, he never has been, but it's just about him, you know, doing something good, which I think is a really, really great and simple concept for a movie. It's really well done. The music is great. The music is so powerful and sad. The scenes where you listen to the radio, and there's a guy talking on the radio, and like it just feels so lonely and just really, really sad. But I'm still happy in the story because it's a really, really nice character piece. You don't even know that much about the characters, and he's not a great guy, but I found myself caring about him so much for some odd reason, because the movie just sucked me into its world completely. The opening 5 minutes are an excellent setup, and the movie did a really good job marketing, despite the fact that it didn't do that well. Like, this is even an interactive website where you play someone in the apocalypse, and, you know, you view events leading up to the world, and just some things made me really sad. Like, some post said, like, the 2 astronauts on the International Space Station are going to be the last humans left alive. It's just, shit like that just makes me think. The whole movie just made me think about my life, and, you know, I asked the question, what would you do if you had 12 hours left to live? And, you know, would you descend into chaos like the crazy people, or would you try to do something good for someone? And it made me think a lot, and it just had this really profound emotional effect on me. It really hit an emotional chord in me. Really, really made me sad and happy at the same time. The ending has a really great metaphor between, like, going to heaven and either, you know, religious perspective going to heaven, or the non-religious, you know, blackness, which I thought was really, really clever. And I can't wait to see what this director does next. Zach Hilditch, I've never heard of him, but it just really, really got to me, this movie. Now let's, you know, turn the mood back up with number 5, Snowpiercer.
We control the engine, and we control the world.
This is a foreign film, despite the fact that the characters are all speaking English and it's set in the USA. I believe USA, I'm not 100%, but it is very much a foreign film, directed by Korean director Bong Joon-ho, and it stars a really great cast of characters, including Chris Evans, Octavia Spencer, Jamie Bell, John Hurt, Ed Harris, Tilda Swinton. Really, really great acting across the board. Chris Evans' character, the poor people live at the back and the rich people live at the front. The poor people are starting a revolution to move to the front and take over. And the train is like a political allegory for, you know, like the poor at the back and the rich at the front, which is pretty cool. But the movie is just so batshit entertaining. It should have been the blockbuster that everyone went to see. It came out the same week as Transformers, and, you know, if Snowpiercer came out 10 years ago, I think it would have been a hugely talked about blockbuster, because I know a lot of my friends have seen it, and I've had a lot of people say, you know, thanks for showing me Snowpiercer, it's really, really cool. It's like a video game at times, you know, progressing through the levels of the train. The production design is amazing. All in all, it's just so original and so much fun, which is what we need. We need more original movies. Number 4 is The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Pretty picture.
Stop! I can't! I can barely steer!
Where's out the window?
Tell no one. He'll explain everything.
What happened?
What happened, my dear Zero, is I beat the living shit out of a sniveling little runt called Pinky Bandinsky.
I love Wes Anderson. I love his art style. I love his framing and his, you know, symmetrical scenes. And Grand Budapest Hotel, I think, is the best film he's ever done. It's just so alive. The characters are so alive and entertaining. There are so many great actors in it that I'm not even going to list. But Ralph Fiennes owns this movie as M. Gustave, the concierge. He is brilliant. He is hilarious. He's the whole package. And I think he should have been nominated for an Academy Award for this movie. He wasn't. But I think Bradley Cooper does not deserve his nomination. It should go to Ralph Fiennes. Or Jake Gyllenhaal, but Ralph Fiennes is amazing. Great acting across the board. Great. Just the film. It's such an interesting story. Again, it's an original story, which is what you're going to commonly see up high on this list. It's an original story that is just so entertaining. It's hilarious. It's really one of the funniest movies of the year, if not the funniest. I don't know what else to say. It's Wes Anderson. We all know what Wes Anderson's like, and it's a really personal movie for him. And it's also darker than his movies usually are. It's pretty sad at times, but, you know, and it creates such an interesting world, and everything inside it comes alive. And all in all, it's just a very, very, very entertaining movie, and I'm glad that it's doing so well. Oh, I'm getting tired here. Ooh, top 3 best movies of the year. These 3 are very, very even in terms of how much I enjoyed them. I love all 3 of them. We've been flip-flopping them. But, you know, I have to choose an order. Number 3 is Gone Girl.
We now believe Nick is involved in the disappearance of our daughter.
Without a body, without a murder weapon, their only hope is a confession.
You don't know anything yet?
You need to tell me.
How was your marriage, Nick?
Are you asking me if I killed my wife?
Man of my dreams. This man of mine may kill me.
What about my son, Nick?
This man may kill me. In her own words,
this man may truly
kill me.
You ever hear the expression, simplest answer is often the correct one?
Actually, I've never found that to be true.
I love this movie. David Fincher, I love you. He completely sucked me into the world, friend. The dreary blue color palette, the unique score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. It's so amazing. The acting, man, the acting. Rosamund Pike is electrifying in this. She steals every scene she is in, and it is the best performance of the year. And Amy Elliott Dunn is the best character of the year. Rosamund Pike, man, this movie made me freaking fall in love with her. It made me want to watch every other movie she's done, and I just thought, you know, if she can continue doing movies like this, then she has a really, really great rest of her career ahead of her, because she hasn't really done anything that great. She's never really shown to be like an amazing actor, but in Gone Girl completely changed my perception of her. She is amazing in this. Like, honestly, I cannot stress that enough. Ben Affleck's also really good. He fits playing a character that's, you know, scrutinized by the media and stuff, because he's like, you know, everyone knows what it's about. I'm not going to go into the storyline. I'm just going to say David Fincher is a genius. He's one of the best directors working today. This movie is dark, fucked up, and very, very suspenseful. And it's also a lot of fun at times. Like, you can just sort of have fun in the characters and the story and not take it too seriously. But, you know, there's a couple of twists in this movie that are really, really amazing. Shit you don't see coming. Some really, really, really intense scenes. I fanboy out on this movie. I liked it way more than most people did. Also, it made Tyler Perry good. That alone is enough to praise it. Whiplash! I'm sorry I used the lame cliche drum roll intro, but it just felt appropriate. Whiplash is amazing. Damien Chazelle's second film, I believe, and this guy really knows what he's doing behind the camera. This movie is just everything you want. It's intense, you know, it's emotionally satisfying, it's really a lot of fun. Like, J.K. Simmons, maybe his career best performance, one of the best performances of the year. He is going to win supporting actor. He is just a crazy teacher, pushing everyone way beyond what's expected of them, and, you know, he insults fly out of his mouth, and there are some pretty creative insults in this movie. And Miles Teller is also really impressive. Do not discredit him. He goes toe-to-toe with JK. The drumming, he's amazing, and really it's just a movie about how persistent people can be, and about how he wants to be the best drummer. He wants to be one of the greats, and just the lengths he goes to. He's drumming while he's got freaking blisters and he's bleeding everywhere and shit. Freaking, he survives a car crash and then runs to his recital to continue drumming. That's how seriously he takes it. It's a movie about determination and intensity and how far is too far, and it is a lot of fun. The jazz soundtrack is amazing. I've never even really liked jazz music, but I found myself humming this, and I got the soundtrack and I can listen to it anytime, and just like, it's really, really fun and upbeat and stuff, which is, you know, my kind of music. And the ending of this movie is one of the best endings I have ever seen in any movie, ever. Really, really, really good. It's so intense, 20 minutes of intensity. It's just ends on a really, really simple note, but so satisfying. It's one of the best endings I've ever seen, and the best ending of the year. Honestly, that's all I've got to say about Whiplash. It's a pretty small movie. It's in limited release at the moment, so in Australia at least. Actually, nah, I'd say it's well and truly out now, but if you really, really do your best to check out Whiplash, and do your best to pay for it, because we need to support original films like this. Seriously, this and then my upcoming number one. But first, I'm just gonna rattle off a few honorable mentions. There are a lot of movies that I really, really loved this year that I couldn't put on this list, so instead of talking about each one, I'm just gonna rattle off a whole bunch of them. I've got them here. Chef, Foxcatcher, The Skeleton Twins, Enemy, What We Do in the Shadows, The Two Faces of January, The Drop, Wild, The Theory of Everything, Still Alice, The Lego Movie, St. Vincent, Captain America the Winter Soldier, A Walk Among the Tombstones, John Wick, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, The Mule, The Rover, Under the Skin, X-Men Days of Future Past, Godzilla, Cheap Thrills, and Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, that's a lot of honorable mentions. Anyway, let's get to number one. I would do a drum roll here too, but I think I've exhausted the joke. Number one is just like nothing I have ever seen before. Were you really surprised? I saw this movie a couple of days ago. Was it gonna be anything else? Fucking Birdman.
And show them what we're capable of.
Why don't you get your wings in your bird suit, man?
This movie is just, it just spoke to my soul. It is about everything I love. It is about life. It is about, you know, the arts industry. It takes jabs at everything from blockbusters to freaking film critics. Talks about freaking, you know, how seriously people take their art and like mental illness and everything. It's just such an entertaining movie, and the director Alejandro González Iñárritu and the cinematographer Emmanuel Lubezki, these guys are geniuses, because the whole movie is shot and edited to look like one single take. The camera basically doesn't cut for the entire movie, and it is extremely impressive how they did that, and credit to the actors for being able to film those long takes and remember their lines and everything. Michael Keaton's career best performance. Hopefully he wins the Oscar. He is really, really, really good. Zach Galifianakis is very underrated in it. He plays a dramatic role, and he's really good. Like, I wish he did more movies like this, because he was really, really great to watch in it. He was perfect. Emma Stone, really, really good. Amy Ryan. Who else? There are a lot of people. Naomi Watts. Edward Norton. Edward Norton is brilliant in this. One of the best performances of the year. He plays a difficult to work with actor, but Birdman is basically just a big commentary on film and the arts industry in general. At one point there's a really scathing rant against film critics. Not all film critics, but I really agree with it, how critics just sort of, certain ones just go into a film wanting to hate it, and in reviews just use like random labels and words that don't make sense. Like, I didn't emotionally connect with the characters, and you know, just big pretentious words that don't really mean anything, and just sort of, you know, make themselves sound more intelligent. Critics that don't do it for the love of the art, that just do it to be dicks. It's about the film industry. It's about it talks about blockbusters versus indie films and stuff like that, and all in all it's about a guy's mental state deteriorating as his ego is taking control of him. He's a washed up actor, you know, he used to play a superhero, which is kind of meta for Michael Keaton, but I would not call him washed up at all, because, you know, friend, I'm not even going to call this a comeback, because he's been working hard, and he's just been waiting for a movie like Birdman to take him to the top again, which hopefully it will. I think he's landed a role in the new Godzilla. But all in all, I'm getting tired, so I'm going to wrap this up. So honestly, if you're a fan of film, please seek out Birdman if it's playing anywhere near you. We need to support films like this. We need to support original creations so that they'll get more recognition, and tell studios that this is what people want to see. Not countless remakes, reboots, freaking everything. Anyway, that's it from me today. Thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun. I'm really tired now after filming this whole video twice. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. I'm going to leave you with some other lists that I've done of like favorite performances and directors and stuff just for the year. Not really worth talking about, but just in case anyone's interested in some other opinions I had this year, I'm going to flash them up on the screen now. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.